All right, guys, we're back for another week of power rankings. I believe it's week 6, and we'll just jump straight into it with pick number 32. I've got the San Jose Sharks still remaining at the bottom uh, of the plunder.
Yeah, big movement. No, you can't. It's solid 32. There's not much more to say on that team
Yeah,
there. Um,
they get a good win. Yeah, good win, but outside of that, you can't really just move them because they got one good win.
yeah, unfortunate for them at the moment. On to 31. Team moving down a couple. I have the Columbus Blue Jackets.
Yeah, I've done the same thing.
Yeah, just
They're heading
poor.
back in last year's form.
Yeah, poor performance. Lost the last for this week, and yeah, it couldn't be any further than because San Jose locked down 32. So it's a it's a hard 31.
Yeah, I mean, they keep going, they'll be San Jose might actually have a chance of getting off that bottom. So
Mm,
they'd want to pull their fingers out, Columbus. But at 30, I have just slipping a little bit the Chicago Blackhawks. Um,
yes,
no surprise, really.
I've got the same.
I mean, it's it is what it is. We kind of expected it.
Yeah, well, they lost their
Th-
last three.
yeah.
It's kind of the same situation as Columbus, though
Um,
Columbus weren't expected to be here, but Chicago were. And yeah, I think this is pretty much my solid bottom three. It was pretty hard stuck there for this week anyway.
for sure.
Alrighty, 29. Team moving up, Edmonton Oilers.
Yeah, no, I was wondering what you would do with these guys after a couple of wins, but yeah, nah, look, I wasn't convinced with their Kraken win. I don't think they deserved to get it. Probably a missed call by the refs that led to the tying goal, and then they win it in OT. So they probably shouldn't have even gotten that one, but they are they are playing better.
Yeah,
But I need to see more than just 2 wins to get them back up this board.
yeah. Well, I think they got an issue with double shooting their opponent and still conceding too many goals. So need to see more.
100%. Yeah, for sure. All right, at number 28, I have the Nashville Predators.
All right, look at us go.
Just, yeah, five for five. That's pretty impressive. But I don't know what the problem with Nashville is, man. Like they, they're still playing some relatively good hockey. They just can't get results
They're always
at all.
competitive, but like you said, they just don't
Um,
get results. I think it's probably
no,
a little lack of goal scoring and just maybe depth for conceding goals. But with the roster they have, it's expected, honestly.
yeah, for sure.
Alrighty. I have a 27 Minnesota Wild.
Hey, look at this. We're on a roll here. That's six in a
I know I was
row.
going to get jumbled later
I
on because all the other teams are just so close, but I feel like this
yeah.
bottom league is pretty solid in regards to
It was
bottom.
probably the easiest part to do,
Mm.
right?
Well, Minnesota
Doing
didn't win a
doing
game,
doing the
so
bottom of it.
it's kind of standard, and they got
They're
destroyed by
concerning.
Dallas. So look,
Did did you hear Spurgeon after that game? He was filthy. Like he just and I don't blame him, man, because they were disgusting. Like that was that was bad. So yeah, some big changes being needed in Minnesota, that's for sure.
unfortunately, they can't really do it till that 15 mil comes off the books. But yes,
Exactly. Like they kind of got their hands tied behind their back at the moment, but we know they've got talent and they can turn it around. To they've just got to click. All right, at 26, I've got moving up the ranks a little bit. Calgary Flames.
Whew.
So both those Alberta teams seem to be finding some form. Hey,
Yeah, well, it's the only way was up for them really because San Jose locked 32. So it's look, they're looking better. They're looking what they should be, but like it's like Edmonton and whatnot. It's a long ladder to climb.
I mean, look, they take 5 out of the 6 points. They get a win against Vancouver, um, as well, which was good. So yeah, look, positive signs for them. They've just got to actually keep it up and not fall back, which is pretty much what they always seem to do. So let's see what happens. They benched Huberdeau, and he's been a little bit better since. So
All right.
um, yeah.
My 25. This is maybe where we start diverging. I have the Islanders.
Oh, no way. Me too. That's huge. Huge call.
All
Wow.
right. Oh, okay.
Nice.
So far so good
Nice.
then.
You,
Yeah, they only win
yeah,
the
you're
one game.
expecting some change.
They go to OT.
Oh,
Shootout against Kraken on a back to back. Like it's not a horrible week, but they lose to Edmonton, OT, Canucks, shootout loss to Kraken, then shootout win against Flames. So they're in the games. I'm just not super convinced, and where I had them last week and the week they had, it's kind of just standard where I had to have them.
they had to fall. But the issue I've got with them is that, that the OT losses are keeping them in it. They're still 500. They can still turn their season around, but it doesn't look great. Like they don't look deadly. They're always in games, and I think they're always gonna be in games because of their
Mm,
defensive play style. But I just don't think they've got that killer instinct, and I
yeah,
think it's showing. They can lock games down, get them to OT, but the second they go to OT, they're done because they don't have enough to get the job done in OT.
it's kind of like the
So
Eastern Conference version of Nashville, basically. Always
hmm,
in the games, but just not super convincing.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's worrying for them, that's for sure. All right, at 24, I've got moving up a bit. The Seattle Kraken.
All right, this is where we diverge. Okay,
All
uh,
right, a little
I
bit of
went I went
changes here.
bigger on them. I went to 22, but you
Ooh,
obviously were lower on
um,
them last week. So it's same movement plus 4.
yeah. I I reckon I know one of the teams in between that, but yeah, look, I don't mind them, but I'm still a little bit hesitant on them. They've been a lot better, um, but yeah, I want to see some more consistency out of them.
Yeah, I think the
So
last three
yeah.
games they're sort of coming back to the old form we used to seeing. But like you
Mhm.
said, probably need to see a little bit more to see if they get that consistency.
Yeah, it's just the loss at the start of the week, Colorado was big. They didn't play well. Like I said earlier, that Edmonton OT loss, they probably miss out on a penalty that should have gone their way in the last minute, which probably kills off the rest of the game and they win in regulation. But refs miss it. They score 5 seconds later. Um, and it goes to OT. So they probably missed the point that they should have gained there. Um, but again, like this, yeah, they're hit and miss. They're looking better and they're getting results, which is good. Um, but I still just think there's a couple of weaknesses where they've got to clean up a little bit. So yeah.
Alrighty, 24 for me. I have the Montreal Canadiens.
Mm. Yeah, they're my
Boom.
22. So we've just pretty much flipped. Um, but I get your point. They've had an absolute shocker.
Yeah, bad week. It was a tough week in regards to schedule. Boston, Vegas, Calgary,
Terrible
Vancouver.
week.
So yeah, rough scheduling. But yeah, they didn't come out with a point, and so I had to punish them for that straight up. And the only game that I really saw that was super competitive in was the Vegas one, going 5-6, and I'm not as high on Vegas as probably a lot of other people are in the league. So it didn't show as much as probably going toe to toe with Boston would be.
Yeah, and to not even get a point, that's the worst part of it. Like
Yeah,
they had the lead several times with Vegas. So yeah, look, they were the talk of the town, and they've quickly gone from a above 500 team to a below 500 team in literally a matter of 4 games. So it'd be interesting to see if they can turn it around. No one was really expecting much from them, like to be 24 and 22nd, and I think 25th in the standings. I think most Montreal fans are taking that at this point, especially after they lost Kirby Dack after game one. Um, But yeah, I'd be interested to see if this is the start of their decline or if they can sort of find that form that they were playing because they're playing some really good hockey, man.
Hmm.
So a little bit disappointing that it's sort of starting to come undone.
All right, your pick.
All right, my pick at 23, I have the Buffalo Sabres.
All right, no movement
Oh
for
yeah.
me this week. Obviously, they didn't win a game, lost to the Jets, and lost to Boston. So similar case, very hard schedule. I don't really punish them for those losses because both top 10 teams, and yeah, it is what it is. And honestly, they outshot Winnipeg and outshot Boston. So I couldn't punish, couldn't promote.
But you getting concerned for them. They just can't seem to click.
It
Can't
seems
seem
to
to
be the
put a
issue
run
every
on.
every year. It seems to be
Yeah,
the
pretty
issue
much.
every year.
You're not wrong.
Mm. All right. My
Mhm.
pick at 21, I have the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Hey, here we go. We've had one chat, like two teams flipped around, and that's it. The rest of it's been pretty solid. So
Yeah, that
yeah, what do you make of their week, man? Like that's
I'm
get
just
smacked,
I
then
haven't been
smacked.
sold on them for a long time. Obviously, the St. Louis
Yeah.
game is why they don't move for me, because they do end up
Mhm.
beating Chicago and Edmonton. Obviously, two teams we've already spoken about lower than them on the power rankings. So yeah, I'm still not sold on them, and I think
Mm.
they're getting inflated points because of the OT losses. So yeah, I'm a bit concerned for
Similar
them.
to the Islanders.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, like you said, it's two wins against Chicago, who 30th, and Edmonton, who is 29th. So yeah, I agree with you there. Not quite sold on them yet. So let's see where that goes. Well, the team that smacked them, the St. Louis Blues, they're my number 20. So
Ooh,
yeah,
and
they
my
were
19 it was close, close.
oh they like legit, they win 5-0 and then they go and get pumped 5-1, 5-1. So like I think at the start of the week they were still in my top 16 and I think they might have actually moved up in my top 16 and now they've dropped to 20th. Because those two games they were terrible. Like they weren't good, man.
Yeah, well,
And
especially when it's 5-1 against San Jose.
yeah,
That
like
that's the issue
that's
there.
the worst part about it. Like you cannot get spanked 5-1 against San Jose. Like
Mm.
I get it, you can have a bad game, like what Philly did. Philly didn't have a good game, but they only just lost to San Jose. They got smashed. They were 5-0 down. And it's just you can't do that against a team like that. 5-1 against the Kings, I can accept, but not against the Sharks. So yeah, they had to fall for me.
All right, 20 for me. I have the Pittsburgh Penguins.
Oh, yeah, I've got them just a little bit higher. I got them at 18. They don't move for me.
Yeah, it's not actually like I know they moved down 3 positions, but it's not really punishment on their end. It's just obviously
It's
Washington
more
and
everyone else.
Philly have jumped them as well, and that's pretty much it. They pretty much stay the same. It's they only win one game, but the 2 games they lost, like they had a really hard schedule against Devils and Canes and beating Columbus. So it's not really a punishment on Pittsburgh. It's just other teams leapfrogging them.
Yeah, and they're playing all right. I thought they weren't great against the Devils, not too good against Canes either. So they sort of moved up at the start of the week, but sort of came back down to reality for me um through there. So yeah, 18th for me, but they're still looking all right. They seem to be getting their groove on.
All right, your pick.
Yep, is my pick. At 19, I have the Arizona Coyotes.
Oh, I've still got them in my top 16. I did not move on.
Yeah, you love these boys.
No,
You love these
I just didn't
boys.
move on.
But
I didn't punish them.
yeah, look, I agree. I agree in a sense that having them at 19, I wasn't angry at. I could have had them higher. I considered having them higher. I still think they're playing really good hockey.
Mm.
Um, but they're having a bit of an off week. But again, they still take 3 points from the week, and they play Dallas, and their two losses were Dallas and the Jets, which they pick up a point. So
Mm.
yeah, to go 500 in that sort of week was pretty good. Again, the dropping two positions was probably more of the likes of I think as you can tell, Flyers and Washington moving up the board quite significantly. So um, yeah, nothing really on them. It's more just the teams below them who have moved up a bit.
Alrighty, 18 for me. I have the Ottawa Senators.
This is the big difference one. I uh I kind of figured that you weren't going to have them anywhere near where I have them, but I got
Mm.
them at 14.
Yeah,
I like the way they're
I think it's a
playing.
mistake just because they always play good, but they don't get results all
Oh,
the time, and
I know they're
that's my
probably going
issue.
to burn me. They probably are going to burn me,
Mm.
but they look so good. Like
And my other issue
the
is
game against
uh,
Detroit.
both games
Oh,
go to OT or shootout. That's my other issue. They go to shootout against the
yeah, no, I
Wild,
know.
meh, and OT
The
against Detroit. So
concern
that's
for
what gets
me is
me.
that 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 period where they lost it against Detroit because they were killing them, they were destroying them, and then all of a sudden it's a flick of the switch and they lose it. That is the concern. But when this team is on, wow, are they on?
Hmm.
They just need to
It's what
sort
we
themselves
expect
out.
them to be, but they're just never consistent enough. That
Yeah,
is the
and
problem.
I'm banking that they finally don't burn me and they keep their consistency up because like these guys have potential, man. Like
I know. I had them at
we
number
had them
two
at two, you had them at two,
in my
I had them
predictions.
at three. They have the potential to be that team because they are so dynamic. They just need to be consistent with it. Oh, it's frustrating.
Alrighty,
um, anyway, on to 17. I have the Anaheim Ducks.
alrighty. They're my 15.
Nice, still in the thing. Yeah, I think they still had a relatively
Yeah,
good
they went
week in
500,
terms of,
so there's
they
no
went
real movement
500.
there. And
They got smacked by Colorado, but
on a back to back,
you know,
and then they
yeah.
took it by to a goal to Florida. So yeah, I couldn't punish them, and
Mm.
that's why they just sit there for me.
I still think they're playing some pretty good hockey.
Mm.
The exclusion of Leo Carlson was questionable. I get that they were doing load management or whatever it was, but unless the guy's actually fatigued, let the kid play. But yeah, we'll see if they can keep it up. I'm interested. They're back at 500 in the standings now, but I think they're back at 500. Maybe they're
I'm not.
no,
I could
sorry, they're
maybe.
just above. They're just above 500 at the moment. So I think they're 9 and 8 at the moment. So yeah, let's see if they can keep the good hockey going, or if they're going to fall back to where we think they should have been,
Mm.
which is down in that bottom five.
Alrighty, 17 for me is Detroit, just outside top 16.
Oh
Uh,
yeah,
they finally
they're
fallen out
just
for
in
me.
for me.
Yeah.
Oh look, I kept playing with the Ducks and the Wings, and I actually a couple of them because I thought even the team that's going to be at 15 for me, I was teetering on having them outside the 16. Man, it's
Mm.
yeah, questionable. They're playing some questionable hockey at the moment. Giving up 4 goals. Sure, they come back and get an OT point, but you can't be conceding 4 goals like that. It's just it's disgusting. Um,
Yeah, and
so
then they
yeah,
get Toronto on a back to back. That was Toronto had like a 3 4 day break, so they get bad scheduling put against them as well. But it's just I didn't punish them too hard. Other teams that I've mentioned have just leapfrogged as well. But yeah, I kind of just made that move to put them on my top 16
yeah, 100%. All right. At 15, I have the New Jersey Devils. Look,
already. They are my 14. I'm pretty sure I don't even have to look.
they could have dropped out of the top 16, to be perfectly honest. They finally get Jack Hughes back, but still squander a game that they should have won. Yeah, I don't know what happened in that game on Sunday. Jack puts up 2 points, and just defensive lapses again. and it's basically good night for them.
Mm.
And they don't even get an OT point out of a game, which they probably should have won in regulation. So, yeah, disappointing for the Devils, and obviously they get the win against Pittsburgh, which they looked good in. But again, there's just too many games that they're getting. They let in 6 goals against the Jets, and 5 goals against the Rangers. So
Yep.
they've got to shore up defensively. I know they've got injuries, but it's still not looking fantastic for them. So
No.
if they have another week like that, they'll definitely be out of the top 16.
Yeah, it's a weak top bottom 14 for me. All these teams low.
Hmm.
It's probably a top 13 for me. But starting my
For
top
sure.
13 in that regards, Philadelphia. So another Metro team.
Philadelphia. Yep. Yeah, that's where I've got them. Who would have thought 4 games in a row?
Mm.
Um, that's impressive.
Well,
Uh,
beat Canes, beat
yeah.
Vegas this week. Vegas in OT. Yeah, they deserve it, 100%. You've obviously gone bigger on them just because you had them lower last week, 10 positions. But yeah, big movement
They're
there.
just getting big scalps. They're getting big scalps. So you talk about it, Vegas and Carolina. They're not just beating nobodies. They're beating good teams, man.
Mm.
It's impressive. So
It's not what they
yeah,
need
I,
for their
it's
organization long
what they
term,
need.
but it's
Mm.
good to watch if you're a Philly fan.
It's great to watch, but it is at the exact opposite of what they need. The only thing I can hope for Philly fans is that management sees that they just need to trade out Konechny and Atkinson and get as much for them as possible, and they don't get sucked into a potential playoff run and keep them and lose them for nothing. So see how that plays out, but yeah, be interesting. All right, number 12, I've got the Washington Capitals.
Same thing for me. Big
They
movement
just
once
keep it
again.
going.
Hmm.
They just keep it going, man. Like I don't get it. Like I was pretty much convinced that these guys were done and dusted, and I still am to an extent. I think Capitals and Philly are both gonna come crashing to down to earth, but it's hard not to move on them when they beat Vegas 3-0. I know we've questioned Vegas's legitimacy at number one for a while, and they obviously slipped last week, but they're still a strong team that you don't expect to get blanked by a team like Washington. So yeah, you kind of got to give them credit. Don't you? Like they're
Hmm.
putting in good performances and they're looking better on ice. They still look slow, but they look quite impressive. I've been impressed by Milano to be honest as well. Just the stuff he does, like it's quite cool to watch. He pulls off some weird moves and yeah, I know he's not anything special or spectacular. He's down on the bottom 6 pairings and stuff, but I've still liked what I've seen from him so far, which is nice.
Alrighty. Number 11 for me, the Toronto Maple Leafs. Uh, they moved down 2 for me, but it's they only play the one game and they win it. So it's not just they're getting moved down because they had a bad week or anything. It's just other teams had more games and did better, and that's just basically it.
Yeah, that's fair. I've got them at 10. They moved down a position for me, but that's purely just because of a team that was in front of them last week. Um, so yeah, not enough sample size from Toronto, to be
Yeah,
honest.
that's pretty much it. All right.
Yeah. All right, at 11, I've got the Carolina Hurricanes. Same thing. I just didn't see enough from them to move them up, and a team in front of them did just a little bit more. So yeah,
Yeah, look, they went
they
500, lose to Philly, beat Pittsburgh. Low sample size, didn't really move them, but it was just other teams leapfrogging them, having just being really strong, having great weeks. Moving
pretty
on
much.
to number 9, I have the Colorado Avalanche.
Yeah, that's the team that jumped them. Colorado having a really good week. Uh, I've been, I think their losses. I'm still a little bit hesitant just on the way they lose.
They win
So
big, they lose big. That's how it's been,
yeah,
really.
Yeah,
Like
like you look at all three of those wins, and they were monster wins,
yeah,
but they
five
still
one, eight
trailed
two,
3-0.
6-3.
Hmm. They still trailed 3-0 against Dallas. So it just shows you that Jekyll and Hyde, right? Like when they were losing badly, but when they come back, they pile it on. So um, they just need to tidy up those losses, I think. I need to see them lose a little bit more respectfully. Um,
I understand
I
that
mean, look,
completely.
if if they win 3 games in a row again, like next week, then yeah, they probably move up even further, especially if they do damage like they did this week. But I just didn't move on them too quick because yeah, I just don't want to see them next week get thumped 5-0 and we're sitting here having a chat about why they're at 14.
Yep. All right, your pick.
All right, number 8. Now, this is going to be a bit controversial considering the start they had, but everybody just remember 4 of their last 6 they've lost. All right. And their only 2 wins have come against 2 lower sides in the league. So it's the Vegas Golden Knights.
Whoa.
It's a fall from grace. I get it. But oh, you've done the same. Okay.
Yes.
I don't feel so bad now. Yeah, like I don't know. I moved them down. I think I moved them down to like 5. And then I think I moved them to 6. And then I was like, well, to be fair, those 2 teams below them are playing better than they are at the moment.
Mm.
So I kind of feel like they have to be at 8. Like I don't feel like they're playing well.
Nah, you
We've
did
said
the
it for so
exact same thing
long.
I did. I put him to
They've,
6th, and then I looked at the 2 teams below him, and I went, actually, no. So yeah, you did the
and
exact same thing I did.
and they've had it, and they've sort of don't get me wrong, they're a good team. I'm not questioning that, but they've had a lot of success because of the weaker draw, and their draw is still relatively weak, and they're still losing. So like I said, the last 6 games or whatever they've had, they've they've only beaten San Jose and I think Montreal. But then you
Mm.
look at who they're losing to, and they're losing to Washington. I get that they're having a better season. They're losing to Philly. I get that they're having a better season, but they're 2 teams that are meant to be down the bottom as well. Um, so they're not getting they're not playing great teams, and they're still not getting great results at the moment. And they're looking very ordinary. So yeah, I just felt like they had to flip. So yeah, 8 for the Vegas Golden Knights.
Alrighty, number 7, Winnipeg Jets.
Yeah, yeah. That's I teeted on flipping the team I have at 6 around with them, but neither team's really making too
Nah,
many mistakes to really alter them. So
nah, they
I
go
feel like
undefeated.
Jets could have been higher, but I also feel like the teams above them didn't do enough wrong to get jumps. So it's strange when a team wins 3 games in a row and doesn't really put a foot wrong. Only moves up 1 spot. So
Yeah,
yeah,
no, it's pretty much it. I think they're playing really good hockey. I think this top 6 is top 7, sorry, is a really strong top 7. Um, and that's the only reason why they move up +3 for me is just other teams had a better good as much week as well. But your pick at number 6.
sure. Number 6, team I teeted with playing so much better than what we probably expected with the injuries they've got, the Florida Panthers. I mean, 7, what are they? These 7-1-2 in their last 10, and they're 7-2-1, and they're 7th in the standings. Like I said, if they could be at 500 when they get Ekblad and Montour back, it'd be a good thing. And they're sitting at 6-7-6.
Mm.
It's impressive. And they just keep winning. So yeah,
No, that's pretty
uh,
much it. That's
well,
pretty much it. They're just doing really good, being consistent.
mm, yeah, and with 2 of their biggest defenders out as well, I think that's just impressive, man.
Mm.
So yeah, they're going a long way to heading back to the playoffs to have another strong run at it. So good signs.
All right, number 5, the Vancouver Canucks for me.
Yeah, same
And
here.
just
I'm at 5 as well. So
moving down
I'm
one.
interested to see. if we've got any difference in this top five. But yeah, so far Canucks they're still playing well, man.
Yeah, like
Had
they
a
go
little bit of a slip.
500, lose on a back to back to crack to Calgary, sorry, and then they lose by a goal to Kraken. So it was just mediocre week, I guess you could say, and I didn't really punish them. I think they're still playing really good hockey, and obviously didn't promote them because they only went 500 compared to the other teams. So I feel like 5 is just the perfect slot for them.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's always hard to punish a team when they lose on a back to back to a team that's not playing on a back to back.
Mm,
Um, I won't go on a rant about the schedule because I could do that every week for 6 hours a week. But yeah, it's hard to punish a team when that sort of stuff happens and they get a loss. So yeah, still playing very good hockey, the Canucks. So
yeah.
all right, moving on to number four, I have the Dallas Stars. This is the one that I'm interested to see if we differ with.
No, I'm higher on Dallas. I got them at 3.
Yeah, I thought so. I thought we were going to have the two teams. I'm pretty sure we'll have the same top two, but I was wondering if you'd go a little bit higher. I still think Dallas are playing really, really well. I just think the team at three. I've been quite impressed with them to be honest. So,
Yeah.
um,
Like the only reason I've not done that swap, yeah, because I think we're pretty much talking about the same team, is the other team has just got a couple OT points as well that help them with the point side of it. On ice, I
yeah,
think Dallas will be stronger long term as well.
mhm,
But I can't fault the other team. I guess we can just say it now. My number 4 is LA.
great. Definitely LA. I think yeah. Look, two Western teams that are playing some really solid
Yeah,
hockey at the moment.
the,
Dallas.
these two teams are a coin flip. Who you want higher? Honestly. I'm just higher on Dallas at this current moment. That's all.
Yeah, no, and that's fully understandable. I'm just impressed with the Kings because I honestly thought they were going to have a down year. I really did. I thought that this was potentially the year that they'd still make playoffs just because of how weak the West is, but um, they would struggle in their division and they'd be like fourth or fifth in their division. Just because I I thought we were going to see, the emergence of Calgary. I figured Edmonton would be better in the regular season than they are, and a couple other like potentials of the Kraken and that sort of stuff. But the Kings have just proven that they're still really strong, and Pierre-Luc Dubois is doing all right for them. So that trade's sort of panning out all right, which is what they want and what you want to see if you're a Kings fan. Still very questionable goaltending. That's my only real
Mm,
concern for.
yeah, I think that's what tops it for me. Is I'm a really big fan of Ottinger for Dallas as
Yeah.
well. So I
Yeah,
feel
Dallas definitely has a
yeah.
better goaltending team for sure.
All right, number 2
All
for
right.
you. Any changes here?
Yeah. Well, look, I considered it, but it's hard to move on a team that isn't doing anything wrong. Although the Rangers are playing some really good hockey, but I've got the Rangers at two.
Alrighty.
I think they're one Boston slip up away from being number one.
This is
I just
very
don't know how you move on a team.
equal 1 and 2. Honestly, I cheated on it too, but I
100%.
couldn't punish a team that didn't do anything wrong. In Boston at number
Exactly,
1,
right?
and then I think New York Rangers with the injuries they have and how good they're playing, it's hard to almost not have them at number 1. But Boston is still doing Boston things from last season. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Any slip up here,
No,
they're going to swap either way. But
yeah, 100%. And I think, like that's where I've had it. Like you look at Rangers and the injuries they've had, and you're like, to be where they are with the injuries they've had, surely that gives them the number one spot. Boston haven't made a mistake.
mm,
You can't. I just don't feel like you can move on Boston until they have a slip up. So yeah, look, I think Rangers are playing phenomenally, but I also think Boston are number one in the
yeah,
league for a reason. And it's
which is
because they're not
crazy because
mistakes. They're
everyone,
playing.
including me, had them dropping off because of what they lost, and they're still
Oh,
at number 1.
people had them. People had them missing the playoffs. I still had them second in the Atlantic. I still thought they were going to be strong enough for a playoff spot, but I saw a lot of people have them missing the playoffs, and
To
to
be fair,
think
I
that
think
they're
I think that there's
first in the
7 out of 8
standings.
teams that were playoff contenders. So you could, you could
Oh,
see
in the Atlantic, yeah.
in the Atlantic.
Why?
That's why. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, no, they haven't
But
put a foot wrong. Just waiting for it to happen, waiting for that hiccup, but it hasn't happened yet. I think New York Rangers
I think a lot
probably
of
will be
people
the
are.
stronger one in the end, the way they're playing. And I think these two teams are kind of in a league of their own. You know, like LA and maybe even Vancouver. I think Dallas is always like a little bit more yo-yo-y. Are knocking on the door, but so far this top two are just slightly in a league of their own.
Yeah, they're playing ridiculous hockey. I don't think Boston's playing anything spectacular. I don't think that they're destroying teams. I just think they're playing a fantastic system. They're playing very well defensively. They've got the offensive power to put at least 3 goals a game on the board. And then they're just letting their defensive structure
And then the best
carry them.
goaltending tandem in the league. So
Well, and that doesn't hurt when you've got a good defensive structure and you've got two of the best goaltenders in the league um at the back for you. Like, yeah, it's a solid foundation. It's why they're going to be very difficult to beat. But yeah, I agree with you on that statement. Boston and Rangers clear um league of their own at the moment. And they just continue to perform. So it'll be interesting to see if they'll keep it up. You know, in in the
yeah,
coming month up until Christmas, or if they'll sort of have a bit of a slip. But if you're a Boston fan, you're a Rangers fan, you've got to be loving life right now.
all right. Let us know in the comments below what you think of our power rankings. You know, plus one J or plus one N, I guess, for who you think has the better or more closer power rankings to yours. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more hockey content. But until next video, we'll catch you guys.
See you guys.